Thank you for being here.
It's a runaway.
All right. My pile of things. All right, let's call this meeting to order. We'll do a quick roll call.
Diana Wallace.
Laurie Mills.
Don Hudson.
Mary Elizabeth Cofer.
Victoria Johnson.
Great. Okay, so last meeting, we had a little snafu with the posting. And so we have to repeat everything that happened in the first 30 minutes. There wasn't a lot that happened. Y'all may or may not remember what it was. But that's why you see our consent agenda has even though you feel like you passed those minutes, we have to redo them. So, do I have a motion for the consent agenda? Oh, wait, I do want to remind you, for those who weren't here, I was nominated to be the Parks Chair, continuing on the Parks Chair. If anybody wants to take anything off of the consent agenda, you may make a motion to take it off the consent agenda. Otherwise, it'll stay on there. Okay? So do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I'll make a motion.
I second it.
Great. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, let's start with Western Hills Little League and girls softball. You have a season starting.
It's coming up, but quickly because I know you guys got a lot. Practices are going to start kicking up here shortly. There will be some teams up there this week, but next week there should be a full go. And then first game is on 2/27. We will have a few home games, and I'm not exactly sure when Little League starts their schedule, but that's where we are.
I know they finished team placement this weekend, or
Okay.
they finished tryouts, and then I think they're doing team placements this week. So I expect them to start in the next 2 weeks also.
Yep.
Cool. All right, anything else?
Nope.
Great. Western Hills Athletic Club, I know you're not really here for that, but is there anything update you want to give us on the construction? It looks like a lot is going on over there. Introduce yourself and your address.
Steve Marcy, 3220 Park, of the Western Hills Athletic Club, and construction is progressing. There was the construction of the pool deck, which is what's the reason for the fence along the park boundary, was originally going to be done by now, but we were not sure if some of the movement of a filter had an impact that needed city approval. So there was a delay in getting that, but we anticipate progress now that has been resolved. So we hopeful that will be done within the next month. And yes, construction on the courts is progressing, I believe, on schedule.
And when do y'all expect it to be complete?
So the original timeline, I believe, was by the end of May, and I think we're still on track for that.
Great.
Will it affect swim team at all?
I'm sorry?
Will it affect the swim team at all?
No, that was the
Okay.
intention was to make sure that it didn't affect waves at all.
Great. And I see you brought some guests with you today.
Yes, ma'am. Some Boy Scouts who are here working on their communications merit badge.
Awesome. Great.
Welcome.
Well, welcome, boys.
Thank you.
Okay. Discussion, update, and possible action regarding the Rollingwood Park Design Group. I want to give you guys a little bit of, we got to do some fast moving a little bit because council was very responsive to the recommendations that were made to them at their last meeting. So, and to give some people who are just watching this for the first time or some background, the Park Commission has been working with RCDC and council to improve the parking areas and the sort of the entrance around the sports fields. And with the approval of council and funding from RCDC, we had hired a landscape architect to do some work there. At our last meeting, we asked for council to consider adding additional dollars for us to create an off-leash area, 2 options for an off-leash area. And the council moved very quickly and basically approved that, and including the dollar amount, and then asked us to create a working group, a park design working group, that would be 2 council members, 2 RCDC members, and 3 Parks Commission members. And so that design group met last Monday. Again, we had a really productive meeting. We met also, Kurt Arnett, our landscape designer, has agreed to continue to do that. And so let's see, they approved up to $5K to do those designs, and that is to improve communication and efficiency. So we're really excited to have that moving forward. I want to give you just a few words of what we shared with that design group before we sort of got started on our work. We said that the bulk of our meeting would be for just to get everyone on the same page and make sure that we're in the right ballpark, so to speak, with the things that we're wanting and want to achieve with it. And then based on the Parks Commission meetings, RCDC, City Council, and input from the public, from emails and meetings, there were basically 12 different things and then more things that that group sort of agreed on. Number 1, that all improvements would be designed to maximize usable park space for multiple user groups while minimizing ongoing maintenance. Number 2, the off-leash area would be considered to be in the upper park area. 3, with the increase in parking spaces created in the newly designed parking area to the north of the sports fields may be used for additional park programming like an off-leash area. Fields 1 and 2, baseball and softball, will remain in their current configuration. Field 2 softball may be converted to a movable outfield fence when they are outside of the season, which is approximately, their season is around 18 to 20 weeks of the year. So the other 32 weeks of the year, we might have a movable fence there. The current off-leash area, also referred to as fields 3, 4, and 5, will continue to have at least 1 softball field and 1 baseball field with fixed backstops. During the other 32 weeks a year outside of the sports seasons, the combined outfields and open spaces, we would like to maximize to allow open field space for pickup games of soccer, football, kite flying, movie nights. Number 7, continue to have area for batting cages, but we might move them. Number 8, continue to have a looped walking trail, but again, we might move it. We would like to improve the connection between the field house, the water fountains, and the bathrooms with all aspects of the park being able to access it. That the off-leash area would be a flat area that is fenced with some seating. And you'll see that we do have one option that has an area being considered that's not as flat as the other, but predominantly the off-leash people would like to have a flat area. We know that we're at the end of life with our current sprinkler system, so whatever we do with all of these improvements, we want to have a new irrigation system. And then we also make sure to have, number 12, a subcommittee to create an off-leash area sort of, we'd have deputies and club members who basically help us get good behavior that happens within the off-leash area. This group would also come up with a list of rules and ideas to make it more fun and safe. That could include things like, no more than 12 dogs or 20 dogs or whatever number we come up with at a time in the area. And then what an aggressive dog, what happens if a dog is being aggressive, asking them to leave, and obviously picking up any waste, any trash, etc. Additional notes that I have from that meeting was to have natural grass in that area. There were several comments about how dusty and several people didn't love the idea of having dirt, wood chips, concrete, artificial turf. The importance of having a good line of sight, so that we notice a lot of times when people are up there, they start talking to someone, and we want to make sure that they can always see their dog within the park, so that they're keeping control of it and know what's happening with it. And then obviously setting a good set of rules for the club and the dog association. And also having dogs getting licensed, making sure that they were licensed, the ones that come down there. That's sort of kind of some of the background of the discussion that we had. I think overall, the people who were involved, it was Kevin Glasheen and Kevin Schell for council. It was Brian Ryder and Bobby Hempling from RCDC, and then it was myself, Sean, and Lori there for the Parks Commission. So we're sort of bringing the rest of the Parks Commission to discussion. No official decisions or motions could have been made at that design committee meeting. Any motions or decisions would be recommendations that come out of Park Commission. We want to continue to have the council members, Kevin and Kevin are both our Parks liaisons anyway, but they'll probably be very actively engaged in this conversation that we have as we dig into this. So now I think I'd like to have Kurt kind of talk to us a little bit about, do y'all have any questions about that so far? Okay. So I think I'd like to have Kurt kind of walk us through the three, I know we only asked for two, but we got a bonus one, to walk us through the three designs and kind of talk about some of the differences. And can we have those up on the screen? Oh, sorry.
Is everybody missing from parks or just everybody?
This is everybody.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm showing three options and they're not necessarily in any order. But this one is the 0.6 acre version. And the big components of this are we're removing this field here. We're shifting everything 60 feet. Actually, this one shows 30. I think this is right, but this shows the
That's option one. I've got it pulled up on my computer too.
0.6 acres. And what we did here, this is showing the existing trail, and there's a little room about 15 feet before it drops off. And so to shift this trail a little bit closer to the edge and then have it rejoin, the butterfly area is right in this area, the current butterflies. So the main parts of this are shifting, the fields, and that's what the 0.6 kind of looks like. The entrance, I was proposing the entrance to the dog park would be here.
So that moves the trail, so that's 30 feet of the 30 feet is what they're taking from that 3, 4, and 5.
Yes, so this red line represents the existing fence, and just shifting everything 30 feet over.
Even in that deepest spot?
The lower part.
The lower part, closer to the
lower
parking
part,
lot.
I didn't shift it this way. West, just this way.
But the bottom
But
part
the
of
bottom left
yeah.
looks much deeper. It looks like you took more than 30 feet there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Thank you, dude.
it just shifted as a unit. So you can see this is the dugout, this is the new one, bleachers, everything's shifted this way. So this, you're talking about.
I'm talking about the
south.
larger
Yeah, once
portion. How much is that?
Well, once it kind of cleared the third base, then this little chunk had to come out to get the 0.6.
But I'm just asking how big is that?
Probably, let's see.
If that's 30, that looks like almost double.
Yeah,
He
That's probably
said
the
60. Yeah.
Yeah.
maybe more.
I have a question about the trail. Actually, it's not about the trail, it's about to the north side of the trail. We have a pretty steep drop off there where it goes down to the lower park. I'm concerned about erosion and stabilization. Did you take a look at that at all when you looked at moving the trail to this?
Yes, I went out and measured, and you have about 15 feet.
between where the trail is and where it drops off?
Yeah, in this zone here. So, as kind of a reference point, this is a tree that's tagged out
Okay.
here, and then this is the little bump out, the bench sits right here.
Mhm.
This is a bump out, and this is a butterfly garden, so that kind of.
Oh, okay, that's the butterfly garden. Okay, that helps me a lot. All right.
Yes.
So you don't have any concern with erosion with the trail being bumped out closer to the edge? Got it.
What do we,
No,
go ahead.
you know, it's not as, I think it's nice to have a little space there, but this was kind of trying to maximize how far can we get it this way, and then that determine how much of this we have to cut into to get that number.
Did you consider putting an entrance on the west side of the off-leash area?
Oh,
Because
is
a lot
that
of people will
that
park,
here?
Mhm.
park off of Gentry and,
Oh, I didn't consider that, but it could be easily
Mhm.
okay.
done.
Do we have any sort of understanding of what it would cost to move the trail?
I feel like it's not an expensive, deal because it's just decomposed granite, you know, you just scrape the soil and put down a 4-inch layer of decomposed granite. So
Yeah, we
to
already
me,
have the stones. You reuse the stones.
you know, if it's concrete or pavers or something like that, but I don't feel like that's a very big cost.
So can you relativize that for us, because some people think big is different than others.
Under $1,000.
$1,000, no.
Under 1,000 to move the trail?
Well, the reason why I question that is because when we talked about redoing the trail, it was significantly more. Now, I know that meant,
We're gonna set
changing.
cement, we're gonna set the side stones in
Mhm.
cement. But, I mean, you're talking about 2 guys doing labor and, you know, you've already got material.
so,
Or like 2
okay,
guys
well,
for
we
2
can
guys.
find out what, we can get bids for that, just to add that. We do know it would be a cost to move it over.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kurt, the other thing I was gonna ask you is, so you made it, I'll call it kidney bean shaped, as opposed to just like a straight half moon.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a reason? What were your thoughts on that?
Get to 0.6.
To get
Mhm.
it to that, number, which,
Yeah, I just kept retracing and seeing what it was, and I kept moving.
Mm.
Boom, 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 this way, because I knew I'd gone as far this way as I could. And I was kind of going right along that fence line if it gets moved. So that's. I
Oh,
did
cause
it.
that's where but I thought the red is the existing fence.
The red is the existing.
Yeah.
So the new one would, if we shifted all this over, I was coming right to the back of that
Mhm.
backstop fence, or dugout.
It's a juggling exercise.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'm serious.
And,
Yeah.
and, you know, if we decided to go 0.5, that you get a lot of this coming back.
Mhm.
0.4, you can see it makes a difference.
Well, as far as the dogs being able to run, being able to throw balls to the dogs and frisbees and so forth, that shape would work.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah, but does the shape work for the baseball? Because it's very awkward shape
Yes.
right there. It's just looks like hodgepodged in to squeeze it. Anyhow.
For baseball?
Yeah.
And there was a version.
Yeah, so I
the
think
version
it's
where
your
you flip-
option 2.
Option two.
Mhm.
yeah, let's,
Okay, so now this one, the main difference with this one is this has been shifted 60 feet instead of the 30 feet. And then this one has just been flipped. And so they share this zone here of outfield. So that's only, you know, I kept all this other the same.
It doesn't look as bumped out at the bottom.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You don't have the pregnant bean down at the bottom. So that looks more straight.
Mm-hmm.
We wouldn't have the cost of moving the trail.
Or the trails moved to that.
This
Yeah, it is
I think
moved.
the
We
only,
wouldn't have as much
No,
cost.
there's no movement of the trail in this one.
yeah, the
Butterfly gardens.
existing trail.
We wouldn't have as much cost.
Yeah, so I think you said in that one, the only trail change is between those 2 trees on the right side.
And
The
down-
rest of the trail stays the same.
No, down at the west end.
This,
Oh, yeah.
and
which is gonna
I
change
think this
anyway with
might
the new
be
parking
good, 'cause
lot.
Right now, the trail goes, and since this is a road, it crosses the road at
Right.
perpendicular, but this kind of flows a little better.
Right.
In previous iterations that I've seen that were not done by you, there was a 0.6 and 2 fields, but it was a very straight line 0.6 that was basically just a cutoff bisecting the area, and there was 2 fields that were on it. I don't know what the difference is. I mean, this seems like it's a very official one where you have, but there might be different dimensions of the fields. Do you guys know what I'm
Mhm.
talking about with the
Yeah.
previous
Yeah,
iteration?
what
Yeah.
did happen to that?
It's a better survey. How long are your baselines on this? You know?
We
Well,
used,
I do
we
know that the
used
base is
softball and
55
baseball,
feet.
55,
Basis.
50?
It's 55.
55,
But that's what's out there right now.
yeah.
Okay,
I just
I
measured.
was just curious.
Because the whole reason that we were on 0.6 in the first place, like, I don't know, this became the magic number, right? Is because it felt like that's where we could have 2 reasonably sized softball and t-ball fields, and then maximize the 0.6 for the dogs. But this feels different than what we were previously looking at.
I think it's because it's more, it's more accurate to what
Yeah,
we really
I
can.
agree. I think
It's probably more accurate. The way I came up with it is we had a survey for this, a pretty good survey, even topography here. And then we had boundaries here. We had this line here on that survey. And then I took an aerial and scaled it. And then, so I felt like it's pretty close.
Mhm.
Yeah. All right. So scrap everything we've seen to this point.
Well, and also it's what Kevin, so what Kevin did, he also like went the full length, like, not really looking at, like using a survey and the
Mine was
outside
real
of them.
rough. This is much better
Yeah.
Yeah.
data, and my lines were real thick. Mine
This
was just
wasn't
a little
yours.
rough.
This I'm looking at from a packet in December, which is that
I
you
think
didn't
Alex,
draw that.
no, Alex,
Alex did that.
did that.
Yeah.
But again, it's not the same as Kurt doing it with all the,
Agreed.
yeah.
But option 2 gives less to the fields than option 1, but their field is weird. Is that what I'm seeing? Is that, so they have a 1/10 of an acre more in option 1 than they do in option 2?
Yeah, because of the bump out for the new
Okay.
trail.
Yeah.
The real difference is I kept a lot of this trailer just the same.
Yeah.
So I wasn't taking this 15 foot or so over here. And really all I did here was, it kind of curves in, so I just made that just one curve. So that's what that piece
And-
is.
And all of these are based on either a 0.4 or 0.6. We never looked at 0.5, right? Or something
I did
other
look at
than that.
0.5.
Kurt did do a 0.5.
Yeah.
But we didn't bring it here. It was like, how many different options do we want to? But if someone wants to say, hey, we think 0.5 might be a
Yeah,
better,
I would love to see a 0.5.
I can tell you on the 0.5 I did, I moved the trail and shifted, so it didn't come into this area as much.
Yeah.
But it still could, the 0.5 would, if we kept this trail, it would just probably cut out a little bit more of this here. If I could do that. Like that.
Careful what you touch.
The power.
so the 2 biggest things of difference between 1 and 2 are using more of the land over where the trail was, and then putting the baseball fields and softball fields on the same side going out as opposed to 2 different sides, or having them face each other, which gives us that open space in the middle.
I like the idea of pushing it to the north as moving the trail, which, it's not a very complicated thing to do. I don't know what it would cost. Probably Kevin's estimate is in the ballpark. I mean, I've walked that and looked at that. There is 15 feet or so of just dirt and that nasty bunch of trees that put up those spiky
Those-
shoots
Mhm.
everywhere.
Those thorny things, I wouldn't mind putting asphalt over those thorny trees.
Can you toggle back to that plan that takes out the butterfly garden and moves the trail?
Oh, yeah, let's just take out that butterfly.
Mary Elizabeth, we we will have the butterfly garden, we will put it somewhere
I'm
else.
teasing,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
know
okay, good,
that.
good. Do you have a question, Steve?
I want to speak if I can get a minute or whatever.
Yes.
So can we see the third option? Is that okay?
Yeah,
Okay.
that,
So here's the,
be out by 35 for a
Okay.
quick meeting,
Okay.
so I just have
Yeah.
things to say.
so here's, the third option, and the third option could also flip the softball field to that other location, so that again, we grab, again, these are just different things to be thinking about, things that we would like to be in a possible future option.
Put the softball field on the bottom.
Yeah, flip it, a mirror image over,
Oh, I
like
see.
it did in that
Like
second
this.
option,
Yeah.
so they'd be stacked on top of each other.
So on this one, the last meeting, I was real optimistic about the land down here. I thought that's gonna solve all problems. And then I went and walked it, and I've walked it 2 or 3 times. And there's a stake right here. When you just walk it, you look here and you see a bunch of land. That's great, but it's not on the property. And you can tell there's a pink stake here. I've walked that. There's one down here, and then there's one way over here. And then I even saw the one over here. So I've walked all this. And once you get down to the bottom, the slope here is still pretty significant. And so I showed this, but with a little bit of setback here, and then the 20-foot minimum, I think, setback for drainage. This is about what you can get. It's about 0.2 acres. Not count, and I didn't count this, because, you know, the dogs could use this zone, but I didn't count it.
It's very steep.
And so this is where I was talking about doing some boulder terracing. I did a little sketch of the beginnings of a sketch that showed what I thought a ramp with the boulder terracing. But I didn't finish the sketch because I thought, well, I don't even know if that's a real viable option because of the expense and what you gain out of it. I did like this from my landscape architecture design sense, because I thought this could be very nice. The trail here with groupings of trees, you could have benches here, and even on the inside the dog park. So if it wasn't being used for softball games, you could sit there and look view across here like if it was other events. So I like that, but really I think you could probably only get about 4 acres, or just keep the trail like it was coming through here, but still I think you can only get about 4, maybe 0.5 out of that. I did a little sketch of what this could look like. Let me see if I can show that. Yeah.
I think it's important to let him just, I know, I will give him time.
So
But
this
if we
is
skip
just
to-
what I was thinking it could look like, so the trail would come this way, you have an entrance with some kind of, this is a rustic entry area, but the fencing could be cedar posts with the wire mesh. And then you could have some plantings on this side and the trail. This is where I was thinking you could have benches that view across the lawn. But it could also, the trail could remain the same and just wrap around the backside. But one thing that I kind of like from a design standpoint is having the curve. That way it kind of integrates the two, uses. It doesn't look just like this is this and this is this. You kind of integrate them, and you create some nice areas with some additional trees. Let me see. This is the very rough sketch of the ramp coming down with the boulders. And there are a lot of existing trees. If we try to raise the ground here, retain that to level it off, we're gonna really harm the trees, so.
None of this would be ADA compliant, would it?
I think we could make this, if we wanted to, ADA compliant, but it would have to be a pretty long ramp.
I'm just saying, very little at our park is, and we've tried to make some of it, and I hesitate to build anything more that isn't ADA compliant.
I'm not gonna open this up to public quite yet, but Steve said he's leaving in 4 minutes, so Steve, do you wanna just speak real
I
quick?
just have a couple comments.
Can you
I
come up to,
make.
yeah,
To help me as a leaseholder, I think the options look pretty good. I think, any intention of why the fields got swapped between baseball and softball? I didn't know if anybody gave input that it needed to be that way.
They're the
Okay.
same, they're the exact same size, it's just the words.
All right,
So you
yeah,
could
because
put
our
some-
field's the other one, I guess, so I didn't know if there
Oh,
was
so
a
you're
reason.
baseball,
Where the baseball one is, yeah, we're the back left.
okay,
So I didn't know if anybody had given input that.
they're the exact
Okay.
same size.
What would really help is to have dimensions going down the lines of kind of where they're gonna hit fences. So,
This is showing 150 feet from home plate.
okay, that's what that circle is?
Yes.
And then what is this circle?
I believe it's 70, 75. I can't
So it'd be
remember.
good to see that on there. Option 2 looks like it, when we do it on both on the same sides, like it really condenses things and it would make it, I think softball with because we have 8Us playing out there, could hit it. It's going to cause more confusion out there. So it would just, in my mind, 1 or 3 look better from my perspective, having them opposite of each other. And that's, I think it was just dimensions and asking why the field swap was like it was. And then I think as we get going, how it would affect us as leaseholders, how the lease would be redrawn and if we would be asked or not to cover any costs, because we talk about the trail cost, but the big cost is the fencing, and the fencing under the lease now is our responsibility. And so that's just my thoughts looking at it.
Yeah, hadn't thought about that.
We work with you on it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
of course.
So those were the only things mine, but it looks good to me. And I just didn't know if baseball had also okayed getting rid of a field too, so. But I haven't heard, I keep calling them, I haven't heard anything from them, so you guys can probably talk to them more than I have. Yeah.
Kevin and Kevin, I wanna make sure y'all have a chance to speak.
I've got about 2 minutes.
Okay.
If you don't mind.
Go for it. And if you wanna go to the mic or sit at one of the spots.
Okay, I'll go to the mic. Can you put 2 back there? Yeah. And question, could 2 be set up with the fields facing each other, which I think you said was preferred, instead of them both hitting out this way, where you have one hitting back that way? Is there room for that in that configuration?
Let's see.
Just curious. Since you mentioned it. I mean, that looks like it gives good feasibility. And I was just curious, like, the only thing I'm concerned with is how far this fence is to here where it cuts. Because we're saying that's 150, so that's pretty short. If this was us, like if that's just the little kids in the T-ball, the boys I think can play there, but I was just
So we
a little short on.
Make it tall like Fenway.
So if we flipped baseball and softball on this plan, this is plan 1?
Yeah, it looks,
Would
it
that-
looks like it would be a bigger field for softball, which I think is needed because we have older girls
Okay.
Yeah.
versus the
Yeah.
younger boys, but.
So I'm gonna give some quick comments and thank you for all that. We really appreciate you giving some input on this because we want this to work for everybody, baseball, softball, and we have reached out to baseball a lot and Melissa's done a good job of making some contact. And I do want to say before my comments, I want to thank Melissa and the Park Commission for all the work and leadership they're taking on this issue. And I think y'all are doing a great job and appreciate you letting us come and participate. So one of the things I'm curious about from softball too is what if we got rid of the fence on field 2 and had that just be one big open area? Would that work for you guys? What if we striped it? Does that work for softball or?
I think as I communicated to Lori when we spoke, I don't think that would be, because we have 14Us playing, it would be, I've played on large fields with no fence and somebody can hit a ball and you're gonna run forever to go get it. And so I'm for doing a temporary fencing as long as we're not responsible for having to put it up every Friday before the game. or
Right.
whatever.
Okay.
But we could put it up at the beginning of a season.
Yeah, no,
And
I've
have it
talked
up-
to other people
yeah.
that do that. They put
Yeah.
it up just for the season. They remove it for summer and
Yeah.
winter.
Okay.
And there's,
We're receptive to that for sure.
Okay. I was curious. That was one of my blanks I needed filled in on this because Okay, so getting to my comments, I personally like option 2 a little bit better because it doesn't squeeze the trail as much. I think this squeezes a little bit, but there might be, not that one. I like option 1 and that's 2, 1 and 2. And there might be a hybrid between them where we squeeze the trail some and, you know, get some more where you can configure the fields as requested. But I think I like both of those. I think 0.6, either one that gets 0.6 for the dog use area is really good. I think that the lower area is not feasible for, of course, you've already kind of punted it, but you know, there's line of sight issues and just kind of general usability. But I would encourage the Park Commission for future to consider building that ramp down there from as you're facing that way on the right over there by the parking lot. If you could, and I think it's feasible to build a ramp down there or stairs and have a beautiful little nature trail that goes in and ties in down at the community garden and that flat grassy
Can you show me
area.
where you're talking about?
Yeah, if you can get a satellite photo up, but Kurt knows, he might have something that shows it.
I mean, where you're talking about, if we
Yeah.
don't do option 3, where are you talking about putting a ramp?
I'll show you. And to me, this ramp in the lower area is totally separate and apart from the ballpark issue because I don't think it fits in with the ballpark issue. But I think,
And I agree, I'm just curious as to your vision.
and it's really Kurt's vision, and he, is that all the zooming we got? Do you show the ramp on here that you envisioned, or no?
I was thinking that ramp would be kind of flat.
Okay,
Yeah, and it would go down and kind of follow the grade down as the topo line, basically along
okay, so you're
here.
still talking about the ramp he was talking about?
Yeah, but it's just a trail in the reconstituted suggestion of the ramp. It's just a trail that ties into the lower park at the community garden. And there's not usable land down there in my opinion and in Kurt's opinion, but it is beautiful for a trail. And I mentioned it just walking into him in the parking lot, and he seemed positive about it. So I'd like to have him tell you his thoughts on it. But to me, that's a later issue that you guys can take up because you guys have to prioritize capital improvement projects, and we don't want to add another one to this until we get something accomplished. But I'm just saying, have that in the back of your minds for a future project because I think it'd be cool. But I think we got some stuff here that we could work with, and I think it could work for everybody from what I'm hearing, and I'm very encouraged by the progress. That's all my comments.
Great. Kevin, Shell?
I don't have a lot additive to what's already been said, and I'd like to hear what everybody else in the Park Commission thinks before talking too much. But one thing I noticed looking at all of these, that I have a question for people that spend more time at the dog park. Right now, we don't have a lot of shared fence line with where the dog owners and dogs play with people that walk the trail. All of these plans have a lot of that trail right along the fence, and there's certainly people in the community that are scared of dogs or timid. Something I think we should take into consideration with that much, having that trail right along that fence for that big of a space.
Especially if there's a 10-foot drop off on the other side.
They're I'm a little less worried about that than
There's a fence there, you might
correct. That's exactly what I'm talking about.
startle and
This
go
is,
over, yeah.
you know, I think of, you know, I've had dogs, kids, all that stuff, but I think of my mother who hates dogs and scared of, she's scared of them, though she hates them. So I have hope. Just nobody's brought that up before, and that's the thing that's jumping out at me more than anything else that hasn't been brought out. Yeah, shakes me too.
That's an interesting point.
Yeah, and again, I don't know, people that spend all the time at the dog park, this may not be an issue with people if there's enough room, but if we're condensing it, and maybe we solve some of this with the amount of dogs that we
I don't know
allow
if it's
on
that
here.
much less. I'm not minimizing your concern. It's valid. But right now, that entire red line is shared with the current trail.
Yeah.
So there is a fair bit. Now, I don't know. I don't think it would be that much more.
There's, as what Melissa said, if you're someone who's timid of that, you can walk along, you can get off the trail and walk to the right of it with significant difference off the fence. And then when you do that, the dogs tend to leave you alone because dogs like to run along
Right.
the fence and do that sort of stuff. So again, I don't think it's a deal breaker, but it's something to think about as we go forward. And I'll add more as we do more. But thanks for all the work.
Real quick, I know our neighbors are here, J.C. Butler. Do y'all want to take a couple minutes to speak? And maybe show us where your house is.
Sure.
And let's 2 to 3 minutes.
Okay.
Thank you.
So you want me to walk up to the screen?
Yeah, sure, that'd be great. Then come back to the microphone.
So if you go to option 3. So this is well, our house, basically our house is
Oh, okay.
right here.
You probably saw me.
We see a lot of people. But.
Yeah.
All right. My name is J.C. Butler.
Yeah,
And
otherwise
Christy.
it doesn't make it on the recording
Yeah.
if you're not
Oh,
next
sorry.
to the, yeah.
I'm J.C. 6 Pleasant Cove. This is my wife Christy. She's up here too.
Yeah, we have lots of kids and dogs, so we're invested in both. Some play baseball, and we also have dogs.
Right. We got a t-ball player, softball player, and 2 dogs that occasionally use the dog park. So yeah, those limestone cliffs, or they're actually caliche cliffs that start in the lower park. Those just continue right across into our backyard. So yeah, totally understand that we need a separate dog park and all that. The only thing we have a concern about is option number 3, which was brought up to us. Well, we just were made aware of it last night, and I think, as was mentioned here, that that area, it gets quite steep, and it ends essentially right at like 10 to 12 foot caliche cliffs that overlook our backyard. So we have a few concerns. Obviously, privacy is a big concern. You'd be looking right into our bedrooms and bathrooms, and because it's like a 12-foot cliff, we couldn't like erect a big enough fence to provide privacy, so we would just have to have our curtains closed all the time. The other thing, I mean, clearly one of the reasons we're moving this is because all the dog waste, no one wants to be playing baseball and softball, and that would all be just running off into our yard, so we wouldn't want to be playing in that either.
There actually is a drainage easement in that area, so all of the water flows down
Right.
into our yard.
Yeah, if it doesn't flow off the cliffs, it'll flow into the drainage easement, which is also in our backyard.
In our yard.
But I think the other thing that you all might not be aware of is kind of after the big freeze that happened a few years ago, we left a lot of the plants that died. Well, we couldn't have cleared them anyway, but a lot of the plants that died, now their roots are kind of dying, and we've seen some erosion, and in some parts we've had very large rocks fall off, like microwave-sized rocks. They're still there actually because you need a bobcat back there to remove them. And so my concern is anything we do back there that clears brush will just make that problem worse. I know we have large limestone blocks in the lower park to prevent that, but that's not the case in our backyard. So I think aside from the fact the line of sight issues and a number of other issues that were brought up around option 3, I just would like those to be considered as well. And I think that no matter what option we end up going with, it would be nice to, if we're redoing the irrigation, to make sure that the vegetation in that area continues to be watered and stay strong. I think that'll help with any type of erosion. Obviously, it would help with our privacy and stuff, but it also would just keep, I think, the more soil that can stay up there, the less you're going to have runoff of the stuff we all don't want in our yards. So that's it.
Can I ask you a question? Oh, go ahead.
Sure.
Oh, yeah, no, you asked your
Okay.
question, and then I had a question.
Is your concern the option 3 just going down, or is it moving the trail to the edge of the
Moving
area?
the trail.
No, it's that the option 3 comes essentially to the edge of the cliff that overlooks our yard, and so that it would require a lot of clearing of vegetation. The moving the trail doesn't. I mean, we went and looked at it. It doesn't. It looks like you wouldn't really need to clear vegetation. Obviously, we're not thrilled with the idea of people, staring into our backyard. But I think that would be that could be minimized with just some support of the vegetation there anyway. It's really the issue. Yeah. And bringing the dog park all the way to kind of cliff's edge. Sitting here watching this too, I also had just one other question, kind of unrelated, but
I have a question too.
with the baseball and the softball fields, kind of obviously the issue is them being scrunched together and outfielders getting hit in the back of the head or something like that. Is it cost prohibitive to move that batting cage and bump what is now called the baseball field up a little bit just to give them a bit more space, or is that not really feasible?
No, that's
I know
one, that's one of the things we would consider, yeah.
Right. Cool. Anyway, that was just
Do you
an
have a
aside.
question?
Yeah, is your concern, if we did the 0.4 without the 0.2, is that still a concern for you?
No,
I think we've
no,
kind of
it's really the
decided
point. It's really the
0.2.
point two.
the
If
point
we option
Yeah, the
3,
point
that
two. But the
Yeah.
0.4 is
that's fine.
not an issue. Okay.
No, that's fine.
That was actually my question. I was a little late to the meeting.
Well, the 0.2 was something that came up in the last 2 weeks. So that's
Yeah.
a new sort of, could we do it, could we not? But the 0.4 and the 0.6 is kind of where we've been debating where that sweet
That
spot
was my
is.
question: is
Yes.
how does it get decided if it's 0.4 or 0.6?
Well, and could it be 0.5? Why are
Yeah.
we stuck on those
Yeah.
two numbers?
Okay. I wasn't sure if
So
that if it was
I think
decided.
it's going to evolve to
Okay.
let's.
Yeah. So I mean, if you go up there, there's the trail, and then as I think Kirk mentioned that there's a little bit of flat bit to the right of the trail. Well, depending on which way you're walking, but towards the woods, and then
Yeah.
it drops off.
Yeah.
Where that drops
Right.
off is where there's the vegetation, and that's our kind of concern.
We just don't want the
Encroaching into that
vegetation
area
feels
is-
like it's gonna take away from the park, cause the erosion to continue and worsen. Noise, I mean the barking dogs, I mean
Yeah.
it's all these things that we're concerned about that vegetation.
And
And understandably so.
we've actually discussed erosion, in the past. We've looked at taking out some, non-native species of trees and so forth, but we realized that that's precarious because
Yeah.
that's
Once
actually
it
what's keeping it
starts-
from,
Yeah.
There's a
That's
lot of
act-
cedar that died, that
That's-
non-native, and that kind of what we've noticed.
that's actually what's keeping that side stable.
Yeah.
Is these trees, so we haven't we haven't proceeded any further with that, but we have been looking at, the stabilization of that, and that's why we haven't touched that.
Great.
But we're aware of that situation.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We
Yep.
appreciate
Thank
your
you very
perspective.
Very
much.
helpful, and always great if any of your other neighbors around there want to send an email after this meeting. It's okay to send, that also. You can send it to Alan, and then we'll get it as well. Okay, so I want to do a quick check-in. We normally end at 1. Can people stay a little bit later, or tell me I want to know when I'm going to lose quorum is what I'm polling
I've
about.
got to leave at 1:15.
Okay.
I'm good.
Good.
I'm good till 1:30.
Okay, so at least 1:15. We'll see where we get to by 1:15. Okay.
I just wanted to circle back
Yeah.
to the temporary fencing, and when I spoke to Western Hills Little League, we had a discussion about who does temporary fencing well, and I was directed to the Bee Cave Sports Complex, and so anybody who's interested in what that looks like, or maybe how they handle that was sort of the bar for doing temporary fencing well.
Yeah, they do a great job. They basically have baseball fields that become soccer fields. Now, those are artificial turf, and so it's a little bit easier. I think it's a rolling mechanism that makes it, really 2 people can do it. It's pretty amazing.
They roll up, just,
No, it's actually, they kind of fold accordion style
Okay.
and they go against the other fence.
nice.
Nice.
Did you know how temporary it is? They move it every week, they move it 3 months.
I don't know.
They
I
move
mean,
theirs
that's
all
something
the time.
that's, I think,
It's a high-end system.
Yeah.
and that was a question that Western Hills and girls softball had is, okay, so who's responsible for those fences, moving them, making sure they're up and all of that? That's a whole nother maintenance issue.
Yeah, for sure. Yep. And
I
a
just
cost.
wanted
And
to
a
throw
cost.
that in. If anyone was curious what those look like, how it works, they do it well.
Okay, so for those who weren't at I do definitely want to give a chance to the people who weren't at the design meeting. If y'all have, again, 1 or 2 minutes, any comments or thoughts now that you've seen this?
I don't have any other than what's already been said.
And I'm the same. I watched it on Zoom, so
Okay.
all is good.
I'm pretty comfortable. I think a lot of good questions have been raised. I think when we ultimately make our decision, first of all, I'm going to keep hoping that we look at 0.6 of an acre. I spend time there, not a lot, because my dog, we walk a lot, so I don't need to. But I think 0.6 of an acre works for the off-leash area. So I hope we do that. But when we ultimately make our decision, I think we need to keep in mind, we need to look ahead and see what it's gonna cost to move that trail. I think that needs to be part
Part
of
of
our
the
decision.
For
making.
sure, for
Agreed.
sure.
And other than that, I really like both 1 and 2. So, and I think y'all given us good information. These designs are great.
Can I make a comment? Even though.
Oh, yeah, Don? I interrupted him earlier, made him be quiet so Steve could have a chance, so.
No, I like the larger field. I suspect there's, I like the idea of stealing whatever space we can steal on the side. And we may wanna put up a handrail of some sort on the cliff side of that, just in case somebody old and feeble and scared of dogs, doesn't go tipping off the cliff. That would be an inexpensive thing to do, I would think. And you know, I think we talked about the butterfly garden. If we pushed it a little bit in that direction where the butterfly garden is in that whole area, we'd have to have money in the budget to replace the butterfly garden. It's just part of the park, and it'd be a drag to just lose it. Or maybe it could be incorporated inside the dog park. I don't know. But I do like the idea of pushing it where we can push it out and maximizing the space. So.
Out of curiosity, how wide is the trail, the walking trail?
6 foot.
So there's 2 trees on the north end of the trail.
Right here, these oak trees?
No, on the
Oh, right here?
no, further down. Those 2.
Oh, these are just proposed trees.
Oh, they're proposed. They're not existing.
No.
Okay. So there's room for more plantings between the trail and the edge of the cliff
Yeah.
without compromising the integrity there.
I think about 12, 15 feet from here all the way over to here.
That's where the vegetation is growing. I don't know what it's called in South Africa. It's something called wattle. It's a real thorny. Yeah, it is. It's vicious.
It sends runners out that sprout up in the middle of the butterfly garden with thorns on them.
So if we do any tree planting there, that's a good thing.
Well, that's
Anything that
what I was
disturbs that.
thinking is conceivably we could, if we had the budget for it, put a lot of plantings in that would help shelter what's below the cliff as well. And then would there be any room on the other side of the trail between, to sort of create a barrier between the dog park and the trail? Is there enough room to maneuver so that the trail is moving between landscaped areas? So that there's
That's
landscaping?
kind of what I showed them, this one.
Yeah, yeah, that idea, but on that other plan would
I
be,
think it's just a function of what this number is.
okay.
If we could go with, I know you say 0.6 is the optimum, if we could go with 0.5, it's gonna open up a lot of.
More landscape options. But the landscape
Lori
option
asked me
could
for a
exist
comment
within
first.
within the park, within the dog area.
It could, I just didn't know if the dogs would trample it or if they try to eat the plants.
Oh, well,
The
they're
dogs would,
trees.
the dogs would pee on every plant.
They would water
They
the
would
tree.
pee on it. They would ruin it, kill it.
Well, not on a tree.
Lori, did you have?
Yes, I just wanted to go back to option 3 with the 0.4. I love the idea of kind of with what Victoria is saying, where the trail separates the ball fields from the dogs. I think that's a great way to integrate the two, but also separate the two. And I also think it would be nice to look at 0.5 and not limit ourselves with just these numbers that we started with, and what makes the most sense for our ball fields and the dogs. But I just wanted to go on record that the 0.4 with the trail in between the two, I think is a lovely way to to separate the two.
Regardless, I'm of the opinion that the lower area, the .2, from the people I've spoken to over the last 3 or 4 days about it, and the butler's testimony, that we shouldn't use that.
Oh, I
lower
think that's
space.
already off the table.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
I
the
just-
impression I got.
we all-
I'm not a fan of doing the .2, but the .4 or a .5.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I was just making sure.
Yeah. No, I'm in agreement with
So
you.
I do think there's an opportunity to do the .6. If you took a hybrid of this one and yes, and so instead of having so you can take your fence all the way to where the trail, on the right hand side of that picture, you would put the fence all the way, like you don't leave that 15 feet on the trail comes in the middle, is what I'm saying.
Between the ball fields and
Yes, exactly. So
that's
you could make
extra layer of
this,
fencing we'd have to put in, so.
no, it's the same amount of fencing.
You're just talking about
Let me
moving the
just
trail.
Show us what you're talking about.
So basically, take the .4 drawing and put it, the beautiful.
What-
Option 3 trail.
Wait, I can't see what you're talking about. I can't see through her body.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, no.
So imagine this, we have this, but it's just moved over here. This moves over here, and then we don't even need the trail there, it's just the fence on this part.
Okay, so now go back to the other one that you're looking at.
Uh-oh, it's huge. There you go.
Yeah. Okay, so you're talking about putting the trail right in between the two.
Yeah.
Yeah, so basically it's this, but with that .4 beautiful thing in the middle. And so that means you can grab this area.
I was thinking it was nice about this one is if you could sit here and view across here, not be in between two. I didn't understand that you had to have one.
Yeah, two fences would be
have to have a backstop and a
constrictive.
dugout area.
So if you didn't have the trail here and just had it going around the back, the dog fence could serve as the baseball.
Is the only fence.
I think that's gonna make it a really busy trail if you have baseball on one side and dogs on another. And you're going through a tunnel. I think that's just a little busy for a peaceful walk in the park.
Claustrophobic.
Yeah, Kevin, sorry, go ahead.
Thanks. Can you pull that picture?
I mean, I love all this brainstorming, but.
Yeah.
Plan 3 is good. Okay. So I like what y'all are saying about putting the trail in between them because it does create some separation and aesthetically it could be cool, but it's gonna be tight and it will be kind of an alley. But if you put curves in it, it won't feel like an alley. And you could have little bump outs for trees, but I think 20 foot would be adequate for a width through there. But if you curved it, it could be aesthetically very pleasing, and Kurt's very talented. I think we should do a plan with that. But I will tell you that, in my opinion, a political prognostication, anything less than .6 won't pass council. Okay? So that's why I said .6. But I think that you could capture more land here by getting rid of this batting cage and coming back in here, or I'll say relocate. And let's go back and pick that in. You can pick up quite a bit of space here, probably at least 5,000 square feet or 4,000, tenth of an acre. But I think you could also, you had plans with this with .6. I don't know if you can get .6 with a deal through here. I don't care if you can get .7 or .8 out of here as long as we got .6 for the dogs. But I think a plan that shows this path would be something we'd all like to see, in my opinion.
Yeah, what they
Where does the
hear
batting
is
cage go
there's
if
two
you move
batting
it?
cages.
Gone.
No, we can't lose a batting
No, no,
cage.
There's
you-
also a large
You
oak
can
tree
put
right
it
here.
next to the other one or flip it over to the, yeah, you can stack it to the
Don't
other
say
one.
that.
Yeah.
Do you have an idea?
You're gonna
how
get me riled
far
up.
acceptance that
We
are-
can't lose our batting cages. I've
Do
talked
you
to
know
Western
how
Hills
far
about it.
acceptance
But stack 'em
that
next to
are
each other.
truncated?
Not on top
I
of
didn't
each other.
measure that, but it sits somewhere like right here.
So it's
Do
pretty
they
close.
really need two
Yeah,
batting
it kind of
cages?
shades the.
It's just it's stuff to work on and study, I think.
Jeff, I see you at the podium.
Yes,
Would
thank you.
like to speak?
Jeff Marks, 2516 Timberline Drive. I'm just curious, have we thought about temporary fencing for the space that we're discussing between the .4 and the .6? So you'd only have the larger ball fields when there are games being played, and then you move it back when the games are not being played.
No, we hadn't talked about that.
You lose some of the things we're discussing here, but if Kevin's adamant that it has to be .6, that might be a way to get the little leagues on board with what you're proposing.
So where you think, can you mind stepping
You
over
go
there and
to-
showing where?
Yeah, if you go to option 1,
Which one is this?
Kurt, if you,
This too.
That's
over to the
two.
left. Yeah. So that bottom right of the softball field, Kurt, where that tree is, yeah. Basically, this section here,
Uh-huh.
I shouldn't touch it. So you would lose the trees, right? But you could have temp fencing come around here, and then when there's not games being played, you reclaim space.
Oh.
The,
I gotcha.
the dog park.
Uh-huh.
The only consideration there is you now have feces.
Yeah. But it's in the outfield where nobody's
Yeah.
really.
We're just going back to shared space.
It's
Yeah.
it's
Yes.
it's just in the outfield where nobody really goes
I like the idea.
as much,
Thing
right?
is-
Like during a baseball game, you're almost never in that corner.
That's where they would put me to play.
Right field.
Get dandelions out there.
Does this scheme work with the baseball?
We have to circle back with baseball. The most input we've gotten is what you heard here from softball. So they've been reluctant to put a lot of input. I think once we get to something that we think is gonna work with them, we need to sit down with them, and it involves a lot of other considerations too, other than just the utility of the space, but also the lease and long-term relationships, so.
So, where would we like to, Kurt, would it be helpful for us to articulate more fully, what we all agree on in an option going forward?
I
Yes.
think so.
And so, let's see, the point, I hate to just drop it down to here, but it's like, so I'm hearing a lot of .6, not so much .4, sorry. But, are we saying we would like to have an option that's .6?
That's what I would like.
That's what I would like.
I would go with that.
Now, am I even allowed to do it that way, Alan? Okay, cool. So that sounds like going forward, we'd like to look for an option that's .6. We do not want to, I don't think anyone wants to go down into the ditch.
Agreed.
No.
Yeah, so we wanna get rid of that, that .2 really doesn't work for us. We want to keep a walking trail. The question is, and I'm not sure we are there yet, do we wanna have it on the outside or the middle? Thoughts?
Look at a drawing of each.
Okay, so a .6 with a trail on the outside and a .6 with a trail on the inside.
And batting cages reconfigured.
Thank
Okay,
You
yep,
know, the trail being between the two fields,
You did good.
it's like driving in the toll lane. You know, you got a barrier on one side and you got barriers on the other side, and
It doesn't have to.
I would avoid it if I could, because it's unpleasant, I know, but to me, the trail just really wants to just wrap around the whole thing and landscape on the cliff side of the trail where it's attractive. You could even landscape between the fence and the trail so that there wouldn't be so much somewhat of a visual barrier between the dog area and the trail. I don't know,
Can I comment on that, Ron, and respond? Because I think that if you let Kurt design something, and keep your mind open till you see it, because those sketches he made were cool, but he was talking about like cedar posts along the dog side and putting curve in it, and it's not gonna feel like the trail, and then you get a lot of low plantings, because you could irrigate and plant the heck out of that part of the trail where you have flowers, shrubberies, and trees, you know, different layers of vegetation, and you can do all that even with just a 20-foot width or whatever he can get out of it. But I agree, it needs to be wide enough to be heavily landscaped.
The trail area would be 20 feet wide?
No, the trail itself would be 6, like all the trail, but then you would have
Kind of a buffer.
Yeah, like maybe 7 feet on each side of that that's full of plantings.
It doesn't hurt to take a look at it.
Right.
Yeah.
You could have vines growing on the fence, for that matter. But I like his cedar post, kind of rustic looking fence style. You could do a split rail. You could do all kinds of interesting stuff that he's good at.
Yeah, you put a big
So,
sign up.
Kurt, what else? Yeah, what other?
My opinion.
Yeah.
The way I see it is, if this can work with the baseball, this is the thing that I don't know. But this scheme keeps the trail pretty much the same, gives you the .6. You have one fence here that also serves as the fence for the baseball. You could, if you wanted to put a trail just right next to it and still come up through here, that's why I left a little space between the fence and the dugout, so you can access that. You could have a little trail, you could have the trees here that you could have maybe even some benches along there, but you're not going through a tunnel because this is serving as fence for this and this.
But you don't need the trail on the north side if you've got the trail in the middle, so you could rob that space, pick up your .12 acres and put it in the middle.
Yeah, you don't have to have this for sure.
No, I'm saying you can have it, but you don't have to have both. So if you take this trail and you move it over here, then you could scooch out and capture this .12 acres that you've been doing before, and put that .12 in here. And then when you capture a little bit more up here by relocating the batting cages and scooting things back, it makes these fields more usable and it adds space. I'm happy to add space to baseball as long as we can get the .6.
So right now, what I'm hearing is 2 options. One, to keep it on the outside. Have to draw something that is a walkway that's the shortest distance from the parking lot to the baseball field up top. Because reality is people will do that cut through. So you need to have that either way.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
I thought of that.
Yeah.
I think she's saying that we want to provide access.
The other way.
Well, that one, but I really meant from the bottom.
Parking lot.
The trail, you said you've left a little space because you know people are gonna walk that anyway. So you might as well put that in that plan, it doesn't have to be the walking trail, and maybe not, but I think a second version is moving it, over, so the walking, you move the fence all the way and you only have a walking trail in the middle.
With the fence on
Just
both
one
sides.
thing
Yeah.
to notice that's not on here is there's another oak tree right in here. It's not on the survey, and I can go locate it, find
Yeah.
exactly where it is. And then there's another batting cage that's right here.
Yeah.
And so, I think you can move this one here, but if you get much further than what this one is, it starts encroaching on the,
I think what we're thinking of is actually putting this batting cage parallel to the other batting cage that exists.
it just tightens this up.
Yes, it does.
And it messes up the field house redevelopment plan.
It doesn't make it look as good.
Yeah.
We can look for other places
Is
for
one
batting
batting
cages.
cage sufficient, or do they need two?
I think you have to have 2, because if you have 4 fields, think of all the kids who wanna warm up before a game.
Well, let's try leaving it, let's do a plan where we leave the batting cage alone so we don't have another can of worms.
Yeah,
And we just try to have the trail in the middle that push the dog use fence all the way and take out the trail on that.
Okay.
I would be what I suggest.
Could we push the batting cage up 10 feet, 12 feet?
The reason I wouldn't on is because we talked about relocating the other batting cage from the field house to be just on top of this one. And
Oh.
stack 'em so that we can redevelop the field house, because it's really in the way of the field house.
Mhm.
the other
You know, we should look at, does baseball really need 2 batting cages?
I'm
They probably
telling you
use
they
it
do.
sometimes.
I'm
I've
telling
had
you
the
they do.
conversation.
They absolutely do.
And we can deal
Yeah.
with that later.
Yeah.
In a couple years when we get to the field house, see what they want to do.
Jeff, I see you at the,
Yes, so just want to remind folks, this is like Little League has a lease on these fields, right?
Mhm.
So we're just debating what we're offering them, right? So just on the optics of having overlapping infields, I don't think that passes the smell test. I don't think that they're going to go for that. And I don't think that this is representative of the community in terms of who's in the room right now. We saw with the emails, there was much more support for the 0.4 than 0.6. This isn't just me, this is just what we saw in the emails. I don't think that the optics of overlapping infields is going to fly. It's just my gut.
okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
I would agree with that.
I would agree with that. I feel like, yeah, the 0.4, 0.6 in the community is not represented here necessarily.
You don't feel like it's what?
Represented, like, I know on, there was some group chats, and they were talking about 4 and 6, and when people wanted to vote on it and things like that.
Do you mind
it
going to
kind of-
the,
yeah, sure.
it's, sorry.
Sure.
I would agree.
Okay. Like I said, I've got kids and dogs, but I do think on the community chat, we were talking about voting and somehow it went to another chat, which I missed. But I do wonder with the community, is 0.4 more representative of what the community wants, not just what's here in the room today? Because I don't think the whole community knew, that it would be decided today.
It's not
It's
being
not.
decided today.
Okay, but
This
0.4,
is,
0.6, yeah.
yes, this is not being decided today. This is
Yeah.
us coming up with some options for us to look at, to bring to the community.
Yeah.
Do you wanna start?
Or 0.5.
Ronald Hasso, 2810 Pickwick Lane. I think it's a grave mistake to not look at 0.5. It seems like that extra 0.1 acres solves a lot of the problems. A lot of people want 0.6, a lot of people want 0.4. I think more people want 0.4. So why don't we make everyone unhappy and do 0.5? That
Yeah.
seems like
Yeah.
that seems like
There
the
you
solution
go.
to all our problems.
Right,
Well, I
That gets us the best option.
okay,
What?
thank you.
I know it's government. I'm trying my best, but
It's
I think
okay.
0.5 makes the most sense, and I think we should do a drawing of 0.5 and 0.6. And I don't have any input on the in-between trail or the outside trail, but you're right. If people are going to walk across there, they're going to walk across there and make their
Yeah.
own trail, whatever that's called. There's
Yeah.
a term for it, but I think 0.5 is the way to go.
I'm
Okay.
sorry, what was your name?
Ronald Hasso, 2810 Pickwick Lane.
Okay,
Is this field layout more on the optics that are on that, or they don't, that overlapping?
Yes. For softball and for Little League.
I think softball said that works better for them, is what I heard.
mm-hmm,
Yeah, I think that one will solve better if you're trying to go for 0.6, separating the infields.
But, and if, I don't know if you can squeeze that some to make the trail go through the middle, and then also take the trail from the right, put it in the middle, that'd be a cool option.
okay, we're gonna try to stay
Sorry,
orderly.
just
We're
one.
at 1:15 right now. Go,
Okay.
you can go ahead.
Sorry, one quick question just on the point of 0.5 or 0.6. I know that there's some strong feelings in the room about 0.6 is what it needs to be. And my question was, is it really more about kind of the shape? Like there needs to be a length of the park for dogs to be able to run long enough to, throw a frisbee or a ball. If someone were to propose a 0.5, would it have to be a certain shape to get kind of enough room for dogs to run? Just to give some guidance
Well,
on
it's
something that might
also-
make everyone,
there.
unhappy but happy enough.
That's actually a very good question. It's about that, but it's also about when we get a lot of dogs out there, we need space for them to play, and they say that there's less aggression in dogs when they have enough space, and that's where the 0.6 comes from. And so I don't know what's going on these chat groups, but if you talk to people nationwide that are familiar with off-leash areas, they're going to tell you that 0.6 is a magic number for an off-leash area. And so I don't know, I've never heard anything about a particular shape or anything of an area.
Okay. Yeah, just trying to think if
No,
we were
that's
going to
a
do
good
a
question.
compromise, what would make 0.5 less painful?
It's to maintain grass, too. That's
Right.
the big issue.
There are a lot
Okay.
of dog parks that are less than 0.6.
I'm sure there's some that are .1, if people
Yeah.
work with what they got.
Okay, so, Kurt, you're gonna do 2.6, drawings, or can you, kind of give us one that's gonna be with this, the way you have the softball and baseball, catty corner from each other? With
This
the,
one would just shift, remove the disc trail, put the trail here,
yep,
and then what's the other one? This one?
I think it is that one, is that right?
And then-
There was no changes to this one, is that right? Okay, great, okay, so,
Switching the trail, moving the trail off to the inside.
oh, so there could be a version where there is no trail on the outside, just through the middle. So there's one that's just through the middle, and then there's one that's this one plus the middle. But it's a skinny one.
Why would we have this plus one in the middle?
Because we know that it's not right.
It's not two trails, there's just one trail, it's just moving that brown line to the inside.
Okay, that's, okay, so we're asking for that, but you're asking for a second one?
No, that's
Okay,
fine.
I thought you were, okay, good.
Should I?
It is possible to do, though, I am, in the sense that we could do one, oh wait, so are we saying, sorry. There's one that just puts it in the middle and removes it from the outside. Okay, and then there's this one, but adding a skinny one in the middle, cause we know people are gonna come through the middle.
I don't think that's what anyone wanted.
Oh, well, I know what I said is, everyone's gonna do that though,
Yeah, but that's
because,
why we're talking about cause you're saying if we don't put the trail in the middle, we need to deal with what's gonna happen? I see what you're saying.
yeah,
I understand you now.
yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't.
No, that's okay.
I'm a little.
Do you understand, Kurt? That's the only one who matters. Okay,
I know,
we'll meet after.
Yeah.
okay.
And I
'Cause
think
I-
he says he's got it in
Yeah,
there already.
yeah.
And we're gonna look at a .5 and a .4?
Would you like to make a motion to make a .5?
I would.
Is there a second to make a .5?
I think we should look at one.
Yeah.
Okay, so I second, you second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
So there, I only hear 3 ayes. So all in favor, raise your hand, you're saying aye to a .5 option,
To the illustration of
To
the
look
point
at
five.
it.
to an illustration of an option.
Is to create
Okay.
that option.
So we would like a .5 option. So we're back to 3.
We're gonna start negotiating.
Okay,
Well, I just think visually.
do you
the
have a
difference between
.5,
0.6
where do you
and
want your
0.5 is
trail?
Even if it's just a dotted line that
On the
says,
outside.
okay, if you do this design.
I don't care, whatever
but
he
make
thinks
it
works
0.5,
Okay,
This is where that line will go.
Melissa, will you
And
talk
that's
to
just
him
a
if he
visual.
needs more fees?
Yeah. So he's gonna go and do that. This part I'm asking Kevin and Kevin. Do you want us to bring to the next council meeting, cause the packet deadline is tomorrow? Do you want me to bring any of this, or do you want us to wait until we have another meeting?
I think it would be helpful to see the progress that's being made, kind of talk through the process that we've gone through, because you guys have done a lot of good work and kind of moved the ball forward. And I think us hearing a report on how you're progressing and where you're going is good for council.
So here's what you have to think about.
Or we can tell them if you don't wanna come.
Well, no, it's not that.
Okay.
It's that if you put these 3 out there, cause these are not the final what Parks is saying they want to do.
No, I understand.
That you're gonna have 50 people show up thinking that these are our final 3 choices.
I understand.
Jeff is nodding, he understands
Yeah,
how this works.
That's
And
exactly
I'm
how
not-
this will
And I'm
work.
not worried
So-
about that. I think all the public input we get all along the way is
I
good.
disagree.
And then I would then wait for Kurt to do these next drawings until after the council has seen these drawings, cause otherwise we may be paying for something that we are then redirected to.
You know, I think the problem in the past has been a lack of communication, and then we kind of start over when we get to council, and I think that's bad. And I think the hearing process is good, but I
Well,
mean,
maybe hearing is good and seeing these are not.
but I think also sharing as much with the public about what anyone's thinking about and talking about is fine, and if people get overexcited and carried away and wanna come to every next council, 4 or 5 council meetings until this is done, it's fine. I mean, I think
The thing is, I'm really working at helping the community know that we are going to listen to all these, but we're also going to come up with a solution, because continuing another 8 years without having a solution is not very positive.
I'm real proud
And
of
so
what y'all are doing.
what I don't wanna do is get a bunch of people upset thinking that we're half-baked, and that's what we're presenting. I'm a little nervous about that,
I'll
so,
defer to you on it then, if you've got strong feelings about it, and that's fine.
I think it'd be good to go to council and tell them what we're working on and what our next steps are and sort of our process, like we did the last couple times, but wait to show drawings.
And I'll just say, I mean.
I know
think
they're
more-
gonna ask for a drawing, and they're gonna say,
Well,
you
Kirk's
can
working
reference
on them and
No,
we'll
no,
have
no.
them for you next
there
meeting.
you go.
You could reference the
Okay.
Parks packet if they wanna see it, to say, you can see what we're doing in the Parks packet.
Sorry,
I don't
Kevin?
interrupt, y'all are rolling.
Okay.
When y'all are done, I'll add to it. Okay, I actually I agree with what Lori basically said. I think what council at the last meeting basically gave money to this process, which we don't do lightly. We know it's going forward. I agree that the lack of communication has been a big problem. I do think presenting, a bunch of work was done today, a bunch of things were talked about. There's a whole lot of things that need to be talked about. One thing, I didn't want to say it today, but I'm gonna have to say it to council, so I'll say it now. We have to make this be not just for our community, an open process and involve the community in it. We have to make this an inclusive process so we can bring the Little League to the table. I think I'm the only person in this community that's not spoken to somebody in a Little League that has an opinion. So I have no idea who even the person in the Little League to talk to is. Yeah, I told you, they don't need another cook in the kitchen right now. We need to make this process so they can come, know that they're a valued part of our community. We want them to stay in the community. And we also want to improve some things and make things better for our residents too. So having more drama is just going to add to the problem of they don't want to get involved in our politics.
So
which-
Kevin, sorry, can you say again then what you're recommending?
What I'm recommending is, what I'd like to see next council meeting is an update on the progress,
Okay,
kind of where we're at. I'm still confused about the process a little bit. Like, I'm assuming you're gonna get to this, but is a working group meeting in 2 weeks? Is the park commission gonna become the working group? What's that going to look like? I think I believe council will be happy if they know the train is still moving and work is being done. If just nothing's being done, if 30 days are going by and nothing's being done, I think that's when some people in the council be like, we need to step in and do more
so
with it.
you would like to see, I will definitely come to the meeting, and, although I just said that, I'm pretty sure I can be there, and tell them that we had 3 plans, that we gave Kurt some additional feedback about some additional plans to come.
Right.
Do you want the drawings?
I think I think the list of assumption you're working off of is stronger than the drawings and what we've given to the drawings,
Okay.
right? Because that's kind of what we're agreeing, the thing we're working on. I mean, 5.4.6 is a stupid argument, frankly,
Yeah.
because we don't have all the requirements yet.
Yeah,
And we're debating over this, and the devil's gonna be in the details. So we're gonna have to give my point earlier about the fence being on the walking path. All we need is like 3 feet between the walking path and the fence. So there's gonna be those little details that cut into all of this. So I think we made a really big step today that we looked at a creative process that might use something down the hill. And we all looked at that and went, yeah, that's not gonna work. So we ruled that out. So there's just gonna be a lot of details in here. So getting hung up on 0.4, 0.6 is to me, is a silly conversation versus giving the
Okay,
requirements,
so
let
no-
her do it.
so and people can go look at what we saw.
Absolutely,
Okay.
that's right.
All right, yeah, good, great. All right, and meanwhile, Kurt will move forward with doing those 2 options, the 0.5 and the 0.6, with the trail in the middle and the trail on the outside. And we may come back to you and say, we wanna have a design meeting in between.
What do you think council's for that working group are we to meet after the city council meeting or maybe before we bring Kurt's drawings to the next park meeting? Cause that's how we did it this last time.
Mhm.
We met with the working group before parks met again, but after council.
So what my intention, I'll just speak for me and Kevin will chime in. My thought process at the last city council meeting was rather than creating a separate working group, we make the park commission be the working group and the chair of the park commission be the lead of this, and then create whatever sub-working groups within that environment is and bring in whatever people from council or RCDC to those meetings as the working group. So I think there will be a problem if there is no process, no meetings in a 1 month period. So
Yeah.
I think that should be y'all's conversation, how you want to divvy up the work and move forward on it. I don't know if you can do that in today's agenda. I didn't look that closely at it. But that was my intent from the last council meeting.
RCDC before the next parks meeting.
Mm-hmm.
So there was an RCDC meeting last night. Phil went to it. I haven't heard. I didn't go to it, but we'll talk about that at the next council meeting. Let's check on that. But I'd like to. I think that I suggested this working group thing, and I really don't care whether we meet before or outside park commission or whether we do
Yeah.
all inside park commission meetings. However you want to manage that, Melissa. I think you're doing a great job in this whole process, and so just however you want to do it. We'll just invite RCTC to come to this.
Yeah.
And we need some liaisons. We need them to pick a couple of people that are going to follow through
Yeah.
on this.
I personally think we're on a roll, like we're moving, we're making some progress. I'd hate to see 4 weeks go by.
Correct.
So I'm gonna say that I think we should have another park design meeting in 2 weeks, so that we can see what Kurt's designs are, and then maybe again break it down into something that we feel like might be more successful at the parks meeting. That doesn't mean that you guys can definitely give feedback to what Kurt sends us once it's in the packet, either by email, but not as a Parks Commission member, as a citizen. But then anything that's done in that design group is not, they don't make motions, we basically have ideas that we bring to Parks. Park is the only one that can actually take action on it.
My
Yep.
input would be,
Okay.
and this is obvious, but just each one of these meetings, as long as we're clear what the next step is.
That's what I'm
Well,
saying.
that's exactly what you just
Yeah.
did, but I'm saying going forward, as long as everyone is a version of that,
Yeah.
I think people will trust the process.
Yeah.
So, carry on.
Lori, right before you leave, I know you're gonna leave, so was there, to anyone's thinking, anything about the, on the east driveway park? I think we're in a holding pattern right now until we get off-leash area. Is that what everyone's,
I believe so.
I don't know that it has to wait on that, does it? Hate to throw that out at 1:30, but
yeah,
I mean, I don't see I think we could still take that to council and get approval for it.
well, it's in their packet.
The whole parking lot? Is that right?
Yeah,
parking
the
lot.
parking lot is in their packet.
I say let's go. Let's not wait on the dog park to do the parking lot.
Agreed.
I think the
I'm
parking
fine
lot
with that.
could change once we get the dog park finalized.
Changing.
I mean,
Kurt's involved with the parking lot too.
I
He
know,
knows
so
what's going
Kurt-
on.
Kurt, you did tell us there were slight changes to the parking lot, not substantial, but,
I already made those though.
okay. You made them so they work with any design of dog park.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah, parking lot.
so, is it in I think it's in our packet, right?
The parking lot?
Yeah. So, do you wanna make a motion to send, sorry, I wanna include you on this.
I know, but
Just say, motion to include to approve the parking lot as designed in the packet.
I make a motion to approve the parking lot as designed in the city council packet. Second.
Any questions?
I have a
Okay.
suggestion.
Yes.
I suggest that if you are going to send that to council with a recommendation that we move forward, I'm going to tell you that when we get to council, I'm going to propose that we make you the project manager on that parking lot, if you don't mind serving in that role, because I think you're doing a great job. And that means going out and getting bids, and then when we get the contract, we'll send it to legal at the city. But
We have the bids.
make sure the scope is good.
We have the
Well,
bids
here's
and
the deal.
trees and everything.
We're not gonna
Those were
approve-
estimates, so we It
we're
would-
gonna get bids, and then the other thing is, we've gotta have, I will tell you, council's gonna want cost estimates on an
Yeah.
alternative from this grid thing, which is fine, I understand there's a lot of real positive reasons for it, but we just have to know how much you're paying for it versus concrete
Yes.
or asphalt, and just wanna see those numbers so we can make an informed decision.
Yep.
Are we gonna vote?
Kurt?
I have to say that those construction documents are probably about 95%. So, the design's finished, I just need to add some noting, maybe another cross-section.
And if you wanna make some comments at council about why it should be a grid versus asphalt versus concrete, at the last meeting you were there, you said something about, well, we studied that and we decided it needed to be the grid, but we still want cost estimates, and I'd love to hear more at council about why that is.
So are you asking, Kevin, for us to wait on sending this to you until we have the bids for asphalt versus this grid?
No, just cost estimates on those.
Okay.
Those are simply done on a per square foot basis. I mean, anybody can
And I
do a
believe-
concrete
But you're
cost
That's what
not
Lori
asking
said
for
is we did
completed
get
bids.
cost estimates.
Okay.
From the permit.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't know,
Yeah.
I'd asked about them before, I've never seen them.
They will not be in this packet, cause there's no way. Well, I don't know. I'll see what I can do in 24 hours. But,
And it's fine, even if it's just information, it doesn't have to be the written materials, you could just
Yeah,
tell us
okay.
what it is at
Yeah.
council. And I wanna move this thing forward, and I certainly don't wanna put up obstacles or roadblocks to getting this project approved and moving forward, because I'm a big fan of getting something done,
Yeah.
just talking about
Yeah.
it. So I will try to, and that's why I'm just trying to tell you that we wanna see to get it approved.
yes, so here's the other, I just wanna warn you guys, cause what came back from RCDC last time we took it was, what about the dog park? And it was like, well, that has nothing to do with the parking lot. And so, but we have made an extra step in the sense that we now have a design of a parking lot that either makes a separate dog park or just leaves it as it is in existence today.
It's a different RCDC.
And it is a different RCDC, but they may still say, we wanna know all of our choices of the things you might bring to us this year. So I'm just telling you what RCDC said to us last time. So that everyone knows that if we get a RCDC saying, well, we still wanna know what the rest of it is gonna be before we move forward. I'm not saying that that's what they'll choose, I'm just
No, I
saying that was our warning before.
I can go to that meeting and help you.
Yeah. Cool. Anything else? All right, I know we have mosquitoes on here.
Next week.
Okay, next month we'll look at mosquitoes. And quarterly walkthrough, if you get a chance, if you'll sign up to do a quarterly walkthrough, in the next year, that would be great. You don't have to do it today, you can look at these dates, and then you can email Alan and Lindsay, Nikki, and then two last things, you guys, we have to do this.
We made
Dawn
a
is
motion
leaving.
though, and we didn't vote.
What?
We made
Oh,
a motion and
sorry,
didn't
okay,
vote.
so we had a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so the parking lot's going. And this is Dawn's last day at the Park Commission. I have really enjoyed your gentle, kind, and thoughtful words at all of our meetings. And also just as a longtime resident of Rollingwood, your presence will be missed for sure.
And I'm gonna say that, I don't know, that butterfly garden, I never could have built that without Don. I mean, his backbreaking work, and Kevin Shell's gonna have to really step up to the plate, because,
Broke my back the last.
no, you know you're dying to get back out there again.
Speaking for myself, Don took me under his wing when I first arrived on this place. Showed me around, took me on my first park walkthrough, introduced me to the joys of bureaucracy.
We were very thorough on that walkthrough too.
Yes, we were. And a kinder, gentler, more informed individual I could not have imagined as a mentor.
Thank you,
Come along.
Diana.
So thank you very much, Don. And speaking for myself,
And feel free to change your mind.
yes,
I wish I would have gotten involved in city stuff much earlier. And I think I've been on for 4 years, and I just love it. I love that I've gotten to know a bunch of people. City council meetings have become really enjoyable. I know I've gotten to know all the city council members, and it's a unique little city run by volunteers, and I don't know how common that is, but it's just another one of the things that makes this a rather fantastic community. So I'll miss you all.
We're gonna miss you, Don.
Yeah.
We will miss you very much.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you. One more thing, thank you to Michaela. This is also her last, she's
Oh,
not
yeah.
here today.
Oh, my goodness.
But, she's also going to be leaving. I know we'll miss her, and I want her to know that we really appreciate all the hard work and stuff that she's done for us over the years.
She's
I know
been
she's
great.
been
Absolutely.
amazing.
Yeah,
She's a terrific at her job. I mean,
yeah.
really.
She's gonna be nearby. She'll be at the city of Westlake. They
Is she
poached her.
really?
Yep. mhm.
They poached her.